Okay, so let's go through this real quick. Basically, there was an Office of Inspector General report. The Office of Inspector General, they're like the attorneys on behalf of the commissioner of the SSA. They have their own group and they produce some reports. Some reports don't come from the OIG, some reports come directly from other SSA divisions. But this particular report, which is very important, uh, let me go into it. It's about IT and spending money and the SSA. Here we go. Ferguson requests review of IT investment practices at the Social Security Administration. This came straight from the Ways and Means.house.gov website. Here we go. Washington, D.C. House Ways and Means Social Security Subcommittee Chairman Drew Ferguson, okay, Georgia, today sent a letter to the Comptroller General, Gene Dodaro, head of the U.S. Government Accountability Office, okay, requesting a review on how the Social Security Administration manages and oversees billions of dollars in information technology investments. Now, as you guys know, we did a couple of videos on how the SSA is using IT, servers, big computers, supercomputers to go ahead and do all these new hyper tasks. The letter follows an audit report, okay, of the SSA released on July 21st, 2023, which I have, and we're going to go through. Not in this video, though. This is just the summary video. And they determined from the Office of Inspector General that a lack of monitoring nationwide data on automation enhancements is occurring. In part, Chairman Ferguson wrote, the need for these systems to maintain operations and stay up to date is not only critical for the Social Security beneficiaries, but every worker and business in America. Over the past decade, the SSA has spent over $16 billion on IT and cybersecurity and has budgeted an annual $2.1 billion for IT in fiscal year 2023. Despite these sizable IT investments, upgrades to the SSA systems continue to be delayed to the detriment of the American people. So kind of explaining what's happening is this. The SSA needs to become this massive, super duper computer, Jetsons kind of futuristic program. It needs to be the agency that uses lots and lots and lots of computer tech because the bottom line is they don't have enough employees right now and they need tech to pick up the ball and move it forward. They also want to heavily use tech to catch fraudsters when it comes to disability benefits, to quickly process people to get their retirement checks, etc. In part, or actually, here we go with the next thing. The Government Accountability Office, the GAO, has found that IT investments by the federal government, including the SSA, have too frequently failed to deliver capabilities in a timely manner. And that's part of the problem with the federal government is they always throw lots of money at the SSA or at this organization or at that organization. They say, okay, continue forward, do your thing, make it work. And they have plans, but they don't always meet these plans. And technology, especially when it comes to the military, is usually one of those categories where a lot of money is spent, but they don't hit those marks of where they're supposed to be. Now, they also incur cost overruns or schedule slippages while contributing little to mission-related outcomes. These investments often lack discipline and effective management in such areas as project planning, investment management, and program oversight and governance. So what he's saying is, thank you, Shirley. Woo! Shirley did a 99-cent donation. Very cool. Thank you. That's awesome. Very cool. So what he's saying here is, as the chairman of the subcommittee that oversees the SSA spending of money on IT infrastructure, is that he wants the following questions answered by the SSA as soon as possible, because it appears that the SSA is not meeting their goals when it comes to infrastructure on technology. Okay. Question number one, these are what he's demanding. How does the SSA manage and oversee its IT investments? Question number two, to what extent do the SSA's IT investment policies and procedures align with the federal government systems developed and the acquisitions? All right, I didn't get that perfect, but there's a little logo over it. Number three, to what extent do the SSA's IT investment practices adhere to its policies and procedures? Number four, to what extent do the SSA's IT investment policies and procedures ensure the agency receives the expected performance over the lifetime of an investment? Number five, to what extent has the SSA assessed its acquisition workforce to ensure that it has the capacity and skills to award, manage, and oversee contracts to support SSA's IT investments? Finally, number 6, I'm one behind there. To what extent has the SSA identified non-acquisition personnel supporting acquisitions and non-acquisition personnel's acquisition training needs? All right. So let me summarize. This head here of that subcommittee, this chairperson of the subcommittee, is pissed. And he wants to know what the SSA is going to do going forward when it comes to making sure that they meet goals, that they set goals, that they get the worth out of whatever technology they're supposed to. Like if you buy something and it's got a warranty for 10 years and then the thing works for 6 years and it craps out, they want to know about it. They want to know why this program failed, and they want to know how they're going to punish the manufacturer of that product so that that product doesn't make it into the scheduled use in the future. Okay. And then they want to know how are they training these people and keeping these people up to date so that everything continues forward as it should. Okay. Now, I think that what he's getting at with all of this is incredibly important because the SSA is a lot of money. And they don't even have enough money to hire enough people to go ahead and run the SSA. Because remember, at the end of the day, the most expensive thing the SSA is always going to have to deal with when it comes to doing things as a program, as administration, are the employees. All of those employees at the SSA, that's always going to be the most expensive thing of the Social Security Administration, other than, of course, the beneficiaries. But I mean, in the sense of running the SSA, the employees are always the most expensive part. Every corporation, it's the same thing for the most part. The employees are the most expensive part of running a business. And the SSA agency is the agency, the business of making sure you receive back that money that you paid in over those years. This is the letter that specifically he sent over there. The Social Security Administration, he said, Dear Comptroller General Dodaro, the Social Security Administration depends on its aging information technology infrastructure to handle billions of transactions a year while serving individual members of the public, supporting other federal agencies, and processing wage records for private businesses. The need for these systems to maintain operations and stay up to date is not only critical for Social Security beneficiaries, but for every worker and business in America. Over the past decade, the SSA has spent over $16 billion on IT and cybersecurity and has budgeted an additional $2.1 billion for the IT in fiscal year 2023. Despite these sizable IT investments, upgrades to the SSA systems continue to be delayed to the detriment of Americans seeking services from the agency. Classic, of course, the major one are Social Security disability benefits and supplemental security income benefits. It used to take 3 to 6 months at the initial filing level to get a claim with a decision. Now it's taking 15 to even 2 years. And it's insane. Like, it shouldn't be taking this long just for an initial filing level claim for disability benefits to have some sort of finding. Okay. The Government Accountability Office, GAO, has found that the IT investments by the federal government, including the SSA, have too frequently failed to deliver capabilities in a timely manner. They also incur cost overruns or schedule slippages while contributing little to no mission-related outcomes. These investments often lack disciplined and effective management in such areas as project planning, investment management, and program oversight and governance. With the SSA expending billions of taxpayer dollars each year on IT and cybersecurity, it is imperative that the agency does not squander these resources. As a result, I request that the GAO evaluate the SSA's IT investment policies and procedures for systems development and acquisition, as well as the SSA's acquisition and non-acquisition workforce that oversees and supports its IT contracts. So the IT people in the SSA and the IT people out of the SSA. We actually have a person that is directly related to this stuff who was saying, hey, look, the SSA has spent $300 million on a program to get 52% done with it that is nowhere near being released. And he could define the future of that program. So it's really super cool. And Commissioner Keisha Causey just recently released the information about third-party investors coming to the SSA, getting funding to go ahead and begin the process of doing this program. But what's happening here is that we need to have alternative options for all of this IT coming to the table as to what's the newest technology. And I will tell you something that I have found to be true. I don't work for the SSA, but it's something I've found to be true. Nobody gets fired at the SSA unless it's really, really, really bad. And that's the same for the IT people. Some of the IT people know their stuff, but a lot of them that I've met, do not know their stuff. They do not have a solid background in not just the program they're working with, but the general infrastructure of how technology works. I've seen that with audio tech. I've seen that with video tech. I've seen that with just program loading. I've seen it with general coding procedures. And I get that a lot of the people that are on the ground doing IT, they're just hired to do a job. And I get that. But this does go to the idea that the SSA should have more training put in place for those individuals to have a better, larger macro understanding of how actually these programs interact with each other. Because let's think about it. The more highly educated IT people you have working with the SSA, the more likely they're going to come out with new innovations that the SSA absolutely could use. With the SSA expending billions of taxpayer dollars each year in IT and cybersecurity, it's imperative that they don't squander this. As a part of your review, please consider what the SSA can do within its existing statutory authority to improve on the value it receives from the resources it invests, and what actions Congress can consider to improve the effectiveness of the SSA's IT investments. So this is a very quasi-polite, a little bit snippy, but very direct letter. And what he's saying is, and it's not coming at a great time for the SSA because the SSA doesn't have lots of funds right now because Congress didn't give them a chunk and a half to go ahead and continue to do what they do. And they need a lot of that funding to go ahead and hire more people, and they're super low on people that they have right now. But this review is most likely going to happen over the next year, and then it's going to tell us and probably be used as part of that whole presidential cycle, like who's going to be the next president gig, how effective the SSA is with using computers. The SSA has always been behind the ball when it comes to IT. I'm talking about old computers, old faxes, old stuff. They've always been behind the ball. Now they have digitized systems, digitized barcoded systems. They have, new internal phone systems that just came online for the hearing office. They got a lot of new stuff. But I think this is incredibly important for you to keep in mind. They've always been behind the ball. So this is a kick in the butt of the right direction. Now, with that said, a lot of the new technology that's coming on is much more aggressive towards those who are disabled. For example, they have computers that will scan the entire medical record of an individual and look for keywords and then be able to rate the likelihood that that individual is no longer disabled and therefore should lose their benefits. Also, this super technology and supercomputers are being used with CDI units to better investigate and improve the likely ROI output, the report that's created by the investigators, going forward as to whether or not people should lose their benefits. So this technology is also being used to be much more aggressive towards essentially those who are on disability benefits. And I will say this, and I've said it before, and I don't think people listen to me when I say it, but I get more calls each day from people who have lost their benefits and are seeking representation to get them back than from people who want to go ahead and apply for new benefits. Once again, I'll say it one more time. I get more calls from people who have been kicked off than from people who are looking to apply for new benefits. So it's like a 60-40 ratio. So with that said, please remember that this technology can help and also hurt you. But at this point, they're going to start cranking down on the SSA and saying, hey, look, we expect you to do more with the billions that we give you. All right, guys, I will catch you a little bit later. You have a wonderful, wonderful day. Please remember to like and subscribe. We only got 42 likes so far. Hopefully that'll go up. But please remember to like and subscribe. And then also, if you get a chance, if you like me giving you updates on what the SSA is doing so you understand exactly what's going on, it's not just that BS-y, like stimulus crap that they all put out, those other channels put out. Please remember to go to Google and leave a review. You go to Disability Resolution, Florida Disability Resolution Law Firm, write a review on Google. I love waking up and seeing those 5-star reviews. I will catch you a little bit later. You have an absolutely wonderful day, and we will go from there. All right. Thank you so much, guys, and have fun. All right. Bye-bye, guys. Bye-bye.